is a way of summarizing and introducing what we're going to do today. For this TRF Tuesdays program, I've been sharing a contemporary view of self-awareness, which I didn't make up. It is based on a 3,000-year-old wisdom tradition from India, from the Upanishads. And they describe human beings as having 5 layers of self-awareness, or 5 layers of being. And so far, we've explored 3 layers: the body, breath and energy, and the mind. So in this section, we're going to cover the 4th layer, intuitive wisdom, also known as the witness, and we will have a short interactive practice after I do the introductions. So the answer to the famous question, can I get a witness, is, well, you already have one. The witness is interrelated with, overlaps, and shares space with the mind, our 3rd layer of self-awareness. So we could develop and deepen our self-awareness by engaging and working with the witness. The goal is to become aware of and manage difficult mind states, unhelpful core beliefs, habits, and behavior patterns. Self-awareness at the level of the witness also helps us to recognize, celebrate, and share our own personal creativity and our talents. So to visualize the interconnectedness of the mind and the witness, as you can see on this slide, we have 2 circles that overlap for about 30% of their circumference. It's a Venn diagram. So one circle is the mind, the other circle is the witness. Here's an example that will hopefully help you understand how layered and interconnected they are and how they work together, because we know what the body is. It's easy to understand our breath, well, maybe a little less so to feel the energy in our body. And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's hard to understand the mind, but we know we have thoughts, emotions, beliefs, etc. But when you begin talking about the witness and intuitive wisdom, it can get a little fuzzy. So this is the way I've come up with to help explain this. And we're going to take a core belief that I know I've had, and I'm guessing that many of us, and perhaps many of you had, a core belief that says, I'm not good enough. Now that belief can exist in both the mind and in the witness, but at different levels of awareness. So in the mind circle, believing I'm not good enough can often be expressed through depression, anxiety, addictions, and other self-sabotaging behaviors. In the witness circle, however, I'm not good enough might be seen and sourced as messages of unworthiness that we have may received from family, friends, and society for any number of reasons: race, gender, gender identification, class, physical or mental abilities. However, the witness, knowing where that message comes from and knowing that the core belief of I'm not good enough is simply not true, does its best to send that message to the mind through the overlapping space that the 2 layers share. Now, when the mind opens to receive the message, it may experience what you've probably heard Oprah call an aha moment of total understanding. All of a sudden you get it. Or at least you're able to acknowledge that the cause and the source of that belief, I'm not good enough, is going to need to be examined. But in either case, steps can be taken to make a choice for positive change, or you get to decide. Maybe you'll keep the status quo with full knowledge of the consequences. Point is that once you have the understanding of what the witness is trying to tell you, you can make a conscious choice to move forward or not. So the witness, whether you are aware of it or not, is an integral, inseparable, indispensable part of your being and your consciousness. It's a true and deep part that leads you, if you are willing to listen, toward clarity, contentment, and resilience. So waking the witness and using it to help you navigate life becomes especially important when you're facing tough times, such as dealing with trauma, chronic or terminal illness, facing the loss of an important relationship, or dealing with the results, like we still are, of a global pandemic. Our ability to witness enables us to respond in a wise and more balanced manner. So, moving on to our 9 steps to self-awareness. So last week, I talked a bit about my unhelpful belief that asking for help is a sign of weakness. Then, using steps 3 and 4 of the 9 steps to self-awareness, I finally identified and explored the irritation, anger, and feelings of incompetence that surfaced when help was offered and I resisted, or when I didn't ask for it when it was needed. Then, using steps 5, turn the mind back on itself, and step 6, take skillful action, I engaged the witness. I faced my issue. I asked the question, where did that belief come from? Key question for any unhelpful belief you want to work with. With reflection, I was able to trace that belief to its source. The source was watching my mom, my Aunt Lucy, and my favorite cousin Ella seemingly do it all without help. I watched them take on total responsibility for family life, work outside the home, community involvement, and church projects. So the key word here, as you may have guessed, is seemingly. The key word, as you may have guessed, is seemingly. I'm sure they could have used help. I never heard them ask for it. Why? Well, it might be that old strong Black woman stereotype, or the independent, I can, I must, I will do it all, I am woman, hear me roar streak that many of us carry. But clearly, I was left dealing with a lingering, and this is the key, possibly neurotic emotional attachment to that belief. I admit I was very uncomfortable being dependent upon and obligated to others. So I had to embrace that truth and then work to replace it. Bottom line, it was emotional attachment to the belief about asking for help and feeling obligated that caused my stress and discomfort. So I'm still working on it. I've gotten a lot better. But the strategy that I suggest for working with unhelpful beliefs, once you have uncovered them, feelings, habits, or behaviors, is reduced to 4 key phrases: face it, trace it, embrace it, replace it. I use a positive resolve, which is often referred to as an affirmation. Now, I prefer the word resolve because affirmation sounds just a little, woo-woo and new agey. And I know that probably sounds strange coming from someone who practices yoga, has a lucky number, and uses aromatherapy to shift mood states, but I acknowledge my quirks. So using a resolve is one way to help with the process. It's not the only way, but it is one way. And with practice, you slowly learn to take another view using your understanding of the witness to reframe an unhelpful perspective, minimize unproductive emotional attachments. That is the toughest part, and it is a process. So what is a resolve? A positive resolve is a short phrase or sentence. It's set in the present tense, and it is meant to work on a significant self-awareness goal, and its focus is long-term, not short-term like a New Year's resolution. So here are the positive resolves I use to help me deal with my emotional attachment about help. Asking for help was a sign of weakness. That's the unhelpful belief. The positive resolve, I ask for help when I need it. The other unhelpful belief, I can do it all myself. The positive resolve, I accept help when it is offered. Okay. So this little practice has a lot of benefits. I'm not going to read the slide because you can see them there. And we're going to use this technique in our little practice today. So if you already have, you can call it an affirmation, resolve, or mantra that you can state in the present tense, you're going to use it in our little interactive practice. If you do not, I'm going to suggest 3 general ones that you can use today or going forward until you can think of one that works for you and whatever you're dealing with. So you can think, I am calm and resilient. That's a good one. I am healthy and whole. It's another one. I am peaceful and relaxed. So if you don't have a resolve in the present tense that you're using, try one of those as we go through. Okay. So what are the next, oops, sorry. Oh, I'm going to stop share now. Good. So we're going to come to our interactive steps. So steps 5 and 6, which we're working on today, is to engage the witness by turning the mind back on itself and taking skillful action. That's the important thing. And so what we're going to do is we get ready. Your shoes can be on or off, doesn't really matter. And if you are in a situation where you or parts of your body are unable or willing to move, just do your best to visualize your body doing the movements in your mind, because the main goal of all of yoga is to help you develop and improve your powers of awareness, observation, and witnessing. So to begin, we're going to take just one quick physical pose. You're going to raise your arms over your head and stretch your legs straight out, stretching your whole body. Then you're going to take a little dip over to one side, side stretch. And then a little dip over to the other side as you stretch. Reaching up again, stretching your whole body, and then relaxing the arms down, the body down, and then just what we call shaking horse. Just redistribute your energy by doing a little shake, shake, shake. And then relaxing your hands on your lap. We're going to take about a couple of breaths, just focusing on our breath. So we work quickly the body. We're noticing the breath flowing in and out, full deep inhalations and exhalations. Just kind of decide for yourself whether your breath is coming fast or slow, whether it's shallow or deep, just to sort of tune into it. And then a quick little look at the mind. You just want to become aware of your thoughts. What are they doing? How are they moving through the mind space? Are they fixed on one thing or one issue? Do they float from one to the other? Just see each thought or image that moves through your mind as a puffy white cloud in a clear blue sky, simply rising and passing one by one. Good. And then now that we've just done a little bit with the body, the breath, and the mind, we'll spend the rest of our time working with the witness. So again, making yourself as comfortable as possible. You can lie down, sit up, any position that allows you to feel relaxed, comfortable, and at ease. Eyes open if you feel triggered, closed as long as you are comfortable. This is called the shelf visualization. In your mind's eye, visualize a shelf, and it can be made out of anything you like: wood, glass, stone, pick your material. Visualize that shelf. And if you can't visualize, if visualization is tough for you, just say in your mind, I got me a shelf. Now, as we move through this visualization, you are going to place everything in your life that changes on that shelf. At the end, you can take it all back, but you may notice that your attitude about some of those things may have changed. First, in your mind space, place on the shelf an image of your purse or your wallet, your cell phone, and symbolically, everything that is connected with your identity: your name, your address, your driver's license, your health insurance, your credit cards, your email, your contact list, all the apps on your phone and your computer, all the furniture in your home. Just notice that everything connected to your identity is not you, and it can be put on that shelf, but you are still here, independent of everything that you've put on that shelf. Now place on that shelf an image of your friends and your family. Remember, you're taking a little vacation from them. You're going to return to them at the end of the experience, but notice that although they may be dear to you or not, sometimes that's true, you are independent of them. Next, place on the shelf all of your life experiences up to this point, everything, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. Include the joys and sorrows, and notice that the way you perceive these experiences right now may be different from the way you perceived them when they happened. Just notice, no judgment. Finally, place an image of your body on your shelf. Take a look at yourself from outside of your body. Observe your body with compassion and without judgment. Everything you see with compassion and without judgment. And you notice that even your body is there for you and your witness to observe. Now, notice if you can, become aware of, if you can, who is observing everything on that shelf. Try to place that observer, that witness on the shelf. You will likely discover that the observer, the witness, cannot be placed in space and time like everything else on the shelf. The observer, the witness, sticks like glue. No matter how hard you try to put it on the shelf, it remains the center of yourself, nearer to you than your own body. So take just another moment, a breath or two, to notice and witness that unlike everything you put on the shelf, this consciousness, this intuitive wisdom, this witness is not limited by space. It sees all. It is not limited by time, because in the few moments it took to do this exercise, everything on the shelf may in reality have changed. But this consciousness, this wisdom, this witness has not. The witness does not depend on interactions with any of the objects on the shelf. It is full, complete, and whole. So take just a couple more breaths and allow this sense of wholeness to expand through your entire being in the way that feels comfortable. Know that this wholeness, this consciousness, your witness, this freedom from limitation is your true nature. And now in your mind, take that resolve, either the one you chose or the one you have been using for a while. Just repeat it in your mind in the present tense 3 times with awareness, with feeling, and with emphasis. Good. And then lastly, reestablish your relationship with everything you put on that shelf, your identity, friends, family, and your experiences. But now do it using any new perceptions that you may have gained by waking your witness. Then gently and slowly, just begin to move your fingers and toes and take any stretch, tuning into what your body's asking for in the moment. Take any stretch in any way that feels comfortable for you. And as you take that moment to stretch your body and just reflect on everything you experienced in that short exercise, and then later, feel free to reflect, contemplate, journal, or draw anything about this experience later if you wish. Good. To conclude, we're going to take 3 breaths. You're going to inhale and raise and stretch your arms up over your head. And then as you exhale, you can either repeat that resolve or simply make a selfish wish, whatever it is you need or want. And then with the next breath, arms go out, up and overhead. And this time you've practiced self-care. So as you exhale, you send this wish out to another person or a group of people and see them at their very best. Good. And then third breath, arms go out, up and overhead. Bring your palms together. And as you exhale and bring your hands to your heart, just send a huge wish out to the whole planet and everybody on it, every being on it, and just send a wish for peace, prosperity, and well-being on all levels. Good. And then just simply inhale, raise your chest, your heart, open the eyes, and we exhale and we bow to the wisdom and the witness in each of us. Thank you. Okay, I think we're ready for any questions or comments.
How can the witness be experienced outside of meditation?
Oh, all right, here's an example. This is my favorite example to use. The witness, between an impulse to action, or a reaction or a response to something that is happening in your life, there's this tiny little space. And instead of going from reaction or impulse to action, if we're able to take a moment, recognize that space, because that's the witness, then we can tune into that before making a decision. Here's an example. And I think I've used my chocolate thing before, but I will have an impulse to have a piece of chocolate. And if I do not engage my witness, I will just plunge my hand into my chocolate drawer, because I have one, and I will take out some chocolate. However, if I get that impulse and I say, oh, okay, witness, what's going on here? Then I say, did this impulse, then I'll just do a little analysis. Did the impulse come from watching something, a commercial on television? Did it come simply be out of nowhere? I sort of want to know where that source was, and I think about it, and then I say, well, how badly do I want it? What time of day is it? And so if I tune into the witness, I can make a conscious choice. I'm not guided or led to that impulse. And I can say, it is late in the afternoon. It is not good for me to have chocolate, because if I eat chocolate now, I will have a digestive issue. Or if it's in the morning, or just keeping it with the afternoon, I can say to myself, I know, I hear you, witness. I know what'll happen, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I will live with the consequences. So when we're able to wake the witness in us, and that's a gentle, easy situation. It's kind of harder to do when you find yourself in a difficult confrontational situation with another person, but it can be done. And one of the best ways to do it when you're just getting started, because I've been doing this for a while, is you want to say something, and those words are right behind your lips. Just stop and take a deep breath. Listen within, get the wisdom you may need, and then you'll respond instead of reacting. Because a lot of times when you react, you haven't really engaged the witness. It's just an emotional reaction to what is happening. But when you're able to engage the witness and kind of look at the situation with some kind of clarity, then you can respond in a way that's beneficial to you and perhaps helpful for whatever situation you're facing. I hope that's a helpful little answer. I write more about the witness on my blog. So I think the blog post is called "Can I Get a Witness?" If I didn't, then I wrote it for probably Yoga for Times of Change, and it's in their archives. So you can search some stuff on my website, or go there or contact me directly, and I'll direct you to some other places. And of course, I spend a whole section in my Enlighten Up book on the witness, because it's really important. I mean, they're all important, but I think the witness is really important to helping us get a handle on how we move ourselves through the world and navigate the ups and downs. It's really helpful.
There's a few other good ones. I think that was a great answer, especially the examples really help sort of set it in a actionable place for me, at least. What are maybe some other names for the witness that other people use? And then I'm going to give you a two-parter. And what helps you connect with your witness voice? Like, what's maybe a trigger for that, or how do you, make that a practice?
Okay. There's intuitive wisdom, there's witness. Sanskrit is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Those are the words. Also deep self-awareness, deep awareness of subconscious and of your subconscious and unconscious, because a lot of stuff will come up from there. But I have found that using the Sanskrit names is not terribly helpful for most people. And even sometimes using the word witness is not terribly helpful. So the phrase intuitive wisdom, people kind of have an idea of, well, what's intuition and gut feelings? And those are some of the things that we need to listen to before we make this just sort of react. It's so the using the witness helps you make the differential between reacting to something knee-jerk or responding to something thoughtfully and consciously. there's lots of ways to practice it. Meditation is one way. It's a good way. However, the reason most people start with the body is because when you're running or walking or holding a yoga pose and you're just there and you get to tune into your mind and you get to say, what is my mind doing? Is it racing? Is it running? Is it asking questions? And then the key thing to that question that I have found to help me engage the witness is, why am I feeling this? Where did that belief come from? So the mind can say, I'm depressed. The witness will say, or the witness can give you the answer, why are you depressed or anxious at this particular time, if you do reflection. So journaling is helpful, exercise is helpful, meditation is helpful. And believe me, after a while of working with this, you do it, it's with you 24/7. I mean, it's right there. All you have to do is take a moment, take a breath, and tune into the deeper layers. And a lot of people will say, well, deep self-awareness can help you control your thoughts or control your mind. Please put that away. Self-awareness, using and waking the witness, can help you manage the mind. We're not going to control our thoughts. Our minds are going to go waka, waka, waka. But if we can pull out a belief or something, a problem that we're working on, we start asking questions. Why is this a problem? Where did this problem come from? Just like with my little issue about asking for help, when I said, well, where did it come from? Why do I believe that? And I traced it back to my childhood and what I witnessed. Once I knew where it came from, then I was able to take some conscious actions around that. That's not to say that an unhelpful belief is going to disappear like a puff of smoke. I still have to, when I need to ask for help, I still bump up against that. But because I'm aware now of where it came from and how it makes me feel, I can make a conscious choice. Okay, Beth, you're going to ask for help. Or, okay, Beth, this person has offered to help you. You are going to say, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And take it with gratitude instead of saying, no, I can do it all myself. So that's kind of how I've learned to do it. And as I said, after a while, it's with you 24/7. You can contact it at any particular moment when you need it. And sometimes there will be moments when you need it, when you ignore it. But later on, you can say, if I tuned into my witness, I wouldn't have reacted that way, and things could have gone better.
All right, Beth, I have two more here, and then I think that's all the time we have.
All right.
So let's say we go back to the chocolate example with the chocolate drawer. Let's say your witness didn't catch you before you got to the chocolate. How can we use the witness to help those feelings of maybe self-disappointment you're feeling?
Yeah. After, let's say I ignored the witness, got the chocolate, then afterwards, when either the indigestion sits in, or I say, oh, I meant to just keep my chocolate to 2 pieces in the morning, like vitamins. Look what I did. This is terrible. Then I say, okay, why am I doubting myself? Why am I feeling this way? Okay, I'm feeling this way because I failed to live up to something I said I wanted to do. Why did you fail? Questions again. Why did you fail at doing that? And was it really a failure, or was it just like a minor step back? Because on this road to self-awareness, we're going to take 1 step forward. We're going to take 2 or 3 steps back. And it's just say, okay, I've looked at this. I see what happened in this particular instance. I will use what I've learned so that the next time I get an impulse to go in my chocolate drawer, I can give a little more context around it and perhaps make a better decision. We're not perfect individuals.
And the next and last question is, what's a good way to kind of teach children to start using and becoming aware of the witness? Let's say the question says between 7 and 13 years, but anything you want to add to that, go for it.
No, that's perfect. I mean, that's why I wrote the book Ogie Bogey, because I was targeting it to the children I worked with at summer camp programs. We would engage them in yoga classes, and we would start basically doing what we did in our little interactive practice. We would start by moving their body so they could just get the glitches out. Then we would teach them a couple of breath exercises, and then we might put them in a posture and say, how does your body feel? So that they could begin to tune into what was going on in their body and then begin to recognize what was either working or not working. We had one example where a little boy, he was kind of ADHD, and he was having a terrible time paying attention in class. So one of the counselors went over to him and said, basically, I mean, and she wasn't even a yoga teacher, but she did a marvelous job. She said, I can see that you're having a problem. Do you know why you're having this problem? And I think his answer had something to do with his frustration about a pen that would not work so that he could write down his thoughts on paper. So she said, oh, that's very good that you understand why you are feeling frustrated. We can fix that. She gave him a new pen or a new piece of paper, and he moved right on. Kids are savvy. When you get them at that age, they will pick it up. They're just amazing. They're like little sponges. And at the end of the classes, they'll say things like, wow, miss, that forward fold was very calming. Now I know how I can use this at school. Or they'll say things like, when they come out of Shavasana, because anything, whether it's physical, breath work, mind work, meditation, you can focus on how are you feeling? Do you know why you're feeling the way you're feeling? And then let's talk about that or work with it. But yeah, I've had a lot of really good experiences, more successful experiences doing this with kids ages 7 to 13 than a lot of adults who have already gotten solidified in and are kind of resistant to this kind of thing.
I'd actually like to do one more if you have the time for it, because I think it's a pretty good one. Is how would you use this tool for addiction, helping people with addiction?
I think I would start with some physical postures, because I think that's really that's really a wonderful use of simple physical postures. Then I would probably teach a breath practice that might be suitable to the class. And then I would do just kind of like a visualization of, you could do the shelf meditate visualization, you could do the roots visualization that I did during the first week, but I would ease them into that kind of thing over time. This alone is probably not going to help cure or solve an experience with addiction, because I know there's group work and there's other therapies that are important, but bringing in the self-awareness of the witness to be able to figure out why this addiction, what led up to, why do I feel that I need this addiction in order to be whatever the answer is. That's the key question. And you can get there through the body, through the breath, through the mind, through therapy, through group work, through meditation. But the witness ultimately is going to be when that person comes to the realization of, oh, now I know why I do this. Because they're not going to be able to change behavior until they know why they got involved in that behavior in the first place. So it's not going to replace therapy or group work or anything else, but it is a way for them to see how to integrate everything else that they've been doing in their path to being clean and healthy and a new life. Next week, we're going to be talking about our 5th layer of self-awareness, which is the bliss or joy layer. And that is our connection to something that we feel is bigger than ourselves. And it can be any number of things. So, and we'll get into what that are. And then the last 3 steps to self-awareness as well, steps 7, 8, and 9.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you,
See
everybody.
you next week.
Okay, bye.